everyone. Hello, Shanti. Thank you so much for joining the call today. Um, I would like to give a quick introduction to all the employees. So, I know most of you all would be familiar with the face of Shanti. She has had a previous session as well with us. So I'm very pleased and warm welcome to Shanti. So today's webinar is about mastering the art of prioritization. I think this is a very important part of our life where we need to understand which task is to be prioritized. So basically, in a busy world, this prioritization helps us a lot in staying productive and focused. So, by identifying important tasks and using smart strategies, we can avoid distractions and work more effectively. So, let's not miss on this opportunity to get all the information we need and become an efficient task manager. And we can learn how we can master the act of prioritization. So, Shanti, thank you so much for joining today, and over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and very pleased to be back with all of you once again. So we've got a very short time, and I need to prioritize. I think we need to, you need to, help me share because the request, I've sent you the request just now. Yeah, now it's working. Great. So I need to prioritize my time and make sure that you get the best out of it. So hope I'm audible and clear. If not, please shout out that no, we can't hear you. Otherwise, well and good. Though it's a short session, it doesn't mean that it will not have activities because it will certainly have activities. So please always have a paper and pencil always with you. And the next 40 minutes, all of us are going to be traveling together. Now, what are we going to do in the next few minutes is actually look at how to focus on high impact task and be productive in the right sense, right? So we're going to have a small shift in our understanding. So before even getting into that, I really wanted to do a quick check on all of you as to what is your mindset. Do you actually have a prioritization mindset? So I'm not going to give you a lot of time. I just want you to skim through around 6 to 7 questions probably, and just choose option and write one. It's just 3 options, A, B, C. So you just have to just go through it. Whatever you think strikes you first, just mark your option. So let me go to the first question. Okay. So what do you do in this situation? A, B, or C? Equally sized task need to be completed, but they're not due for another 2 weeks. What do? But the work has slowed down. Okay, so you make your choice, A, B, or C. Okay, not much time. I've just given you more time for the first question so that you know how the questions are going to be. Great. The next question. What do? Please don't do too much of analysis. Whatever is the first thing that you think, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, just do it. A, B, or C. Good. The third question. Wednesday morning, 5 work tasks need to be prioritized as soon as possible before you start your work in earnest. What do? Okay, I know you made a choice. Very good. Fourth, Supervisor has given you a new assignment for you that's due in 3 months. They ask you which task you're going to work on at the moment. You've got a fairly good relationship with them. You say, what do you say? How do you express your prioritization? What do you usually say? Is it A, B, or C? It's about your mindset. It's not right or wrong. It's about your mindset. Fifth question. 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, you find out you have two similar work tasks that are due in 2 days' time at exactly 5 p.m. So these tasks absolutely must be completed by that time. No ifs and buts. What do you do? What do you do? A, B, or C? Whatever it is, please choose. Sixth question. 9:30 a.m. You've just finished prioritizing your top task. You receive an urgent and important phone call from a client who needs to discuss some timely information with you. What do you do? A, take the phone call. B, tell them you're busy at the moment. C, ignore the request. What do you do? The first few words will give you the trigger that you usually do. Choose it. I'm sure it's becoming easy now for you to make the choice. Last one, Monday morning, a coworker sends you an email for a non-urgent and non-important work request. It's clearly obvious their request can wait until the end of the next week. What do you do? Email your coworker, acknowledgement, asking the coworker how important it is. Put the task on top of your to-do list. What do you do? Okay. So you must have had, at least mentally, if not, you've not written, you'd have mentally made some choices. And it could be mostly A's or B's or C. So if your eyes have been hovering around A, B, and C, what does it mean? So if it has been on A, great, congratulations, you've got marvelous mindset, right? So your task prioritization mindset is rock solid. So you are prioritizing on regular basis. So you make good, solid decisions. Great going. If it's B, it's a middle mindset, mostly B. You know prioritization is very important. It is necessary. But when it comes to executing it, it doesn't actually take place. You prioritize everything, you plan everything, but when it comes to do it, you just do by the pressure. So that goes for the middle mindset. And C is murky mindset. So you're not too sure what's happening. It's you don't have a good vision, little confused. um, so you're in the firefighting mode always. Somebody says this is urgent, it's for them, but still you take it as urgent and you get into that, and I think that needs improvement, but it's okay because at least we know where we are in our mindset, right? Now let's get into the topic itself. So when we talk about productivity, we're talking about the high impact task, right? Versus what is prioritization. There's a lot of confusion between this productivity and prioritization. What should I do so that I can be more productive? So these kind of things come in the mind. So, what does it actually mean to be more productive, and why should we be more productive? So, when we say productivity, every first thing that comes in the mind is picture planners, calendars, to-do list apps, notepads, check boxes. Then knocking out, okay, I did this, I did that, and progress report. And these are the things that come to our mind when we talk about productivity. But productivity has a different definition. which says in a factory setup, because production is related to factory. So productivity has to have some that kind of a definition. Productivity is actually defined as a measure of economic performance that compares the number of goods and services produced, that is the output, with the number of input used to produce these goods and services. So this is the actual definition of productivity, and this is what we are trying to apply to our own life and our work scenarios to say that we are productive. But somehow I'm not very happy with this definition, because it is like, if I could be more productive, then I need to be quicker, more accurate. Then I have more time to do more things that I want to do. But when it comes down to it, productivity alone won't give you that kind of life you want. So because we can work faster, we can be efficient, we can knock off stuff to in that to-do list and do other things. But if we are not doing the right things, then none of it really matters, right? Does it really matter? So aspiring that I want to be more productive is really a good thing, but we need to ask why why do I want to be more productive? That's a question that we should have. That is when prioritization becomes important. So prioritization is a process in which you organize your task or items in order of their importance and their urgency. So this is a skill that can be developed to manage one's time, so that we don't forget about important tasks. Urgent tasks, we don't forget. Paying bills and making a call because there's an outward pressure. But task which is related to our own growth, we tend to forget. Oh my God, I was supposed to enroll for that course. Oh God, I was supposed to complete understanding this concept because next week I have a project coming up and I should have learnt about it. These are certain tasks which we tend to forget because it is intrinsic, internal. So these are the things that matter to you, and we normally forget that, which means that actually creates the productivity in the true sense. Let us think, right? Think very, very deeply. Why being more productive isn't always answer to getting things done, right? We do a lot of work, right? We complete everything on time or before time, but still that is not helping us to meet our goals, right? Sometimes we have done everything, but we are not very happy about it, right? Why is this happening? How to know if you're spending your time where it actually counts? We do a lot of work. We all say, right? We have so much of work to do. And end of the day, what is the result? It is just completion of certain tasks, but it has not made us move any further. Most of us face this situation. We get tired, we get, bored. All that happens. And you say, I want a break. But to have a break, what did we achieve? Nothing. We just did a lot of work, right? So we should have, I think you should start thinking about prioritization and productivity from that angle. So, is there some simple method of prioritizing everything that we are doing? Pretty much everything, right? So, what do we do when we think that this prioritization is impossible? Everything looks important. Everything looks it's time pressure. How do I how do I now have the art of prioritizing so that I can actually focus on high impact tasks? And what are those high impact tasks? So these are the simple questions that we should start thinking to understand this concept itself. Very simple. We have to spend the time where it counts. So how can we know if you're spending the time where it counts? Or are you just spinning the wheels? I also come to the office, log in, complete the work, go back home. I come in, log in, complete the work, go back home. But I'm not moving anywhere. And when somebody asks you, I work, my time log is perfect. I'm spending 8 to 9 hours or 12 hours. But I don't see any growth. I don't see any change, right? Haven't we heard other people talking to us like that? Or we ourselves asking, where am I going? Chances are that you will feel that you're spending time on what really matters. But you feel more fulfilled, your end days feeling accomplished rather than deflated or defeated. Just think. There are times when you think you've not worked so much, but you've taken such good decision, right? And you've actually focused your time and energy on something that you feel very good. You have a path-breaking thought, idea, right? You've solved the problem and you feel motivated to keep taking more steps, going in the right direction, right? So if you don't feel like that any day, right, after your work is over, you don't feel that you've accomplished something, then you feel deflated, right? That will show you that you're not spending your time where it matters. So every day evening when you drive back home, you feel deflated, demotivated. You feel, where am I going? Am I in the right direction? And you're just working because the task is at hand. Then it means you are not spending your time where it counts. Now, how do I fix it? Very simple, right? Once you get this clear picture of where you're spending the time, you'll be able to see where things aren't really falling in line with your priorities. This is not what I wanted to do for my goal, but I'm spending a lot of time. So you can actually look into few apps that are available, like Timecamp, Timely, Paymode, Toggle Track. These are certain apps in which you can do a time tracker. Every 15 minutes you can track this 15 minutes what I've been doing. I've been attending a 40 minutes webinar. Right, next 15 minutes I've been going through some learning exercise, and this is what I learned. Right, so you keep tracking those, and when you do that for a week, right, Monday to Friday or Saturday, you will see a trend that maximum almost 60 to 70% of the time you might be spending in team meetings, right? Or you might be spending in writing emails, or you might not be spending time in any of these, and you are not able to keep track, right? After 15 minutes, when you try to enter what you're doing, you might you might be forced to enter nothing because you're just thinking, what should I do next? So it will give you such revelations of how you are spending your time, and you can fix it. Once you diagnose the problem, it's easier to fix it. So these are certain tools that are available, and you can download it and probably do a time tracking exercise for a week or so and see where you're spending most of the time. Now, there are known tools that are available and for productivity, which is called Eisenhower matrix. I think most of you should be familiar with it. And here, what we have to focus here is on the four quadrants and make sure um, where are where are we spending a lot of time, right? So here, this is the first quadrant, which is urgent and important. We begin our life in this quadrant and end our life in this quadrant because this is about necessity. You have to manage all this work. There could be some problems that you have to take care. The crisis is the rush, deadlines, reworking. All these take up your time. And if maximum time is spent here, we have a problem. This is when we have a syndrome. I do a lot of work, but I'm not moving anywhere. And the second quadrant is you have to focus and see, am I spending more time in the second quadrant? It is not urgent at the moment, but it is important. So this could be things like planning for the future. When you plan very well, you will not have rework. When you plan very well, you will not have deadlines, rushing deadlines. You will not have reworking if you're prepared very well, if you're planned very well. And if your knowledge and skill is a problem, if you have focused on the personal development, you would complete all this necessity. You will manage all the four problems much in a better way. The time to manage will be much less. So the focus for all of us in our life has to be in quadrant two. And quadrant three is something which we cannot ignore, which is urgent, but it's not important. So people come and talk to you, emails, phone calls, and of course, our managers also take up our time to talk about their own stuff. These are all are distractions. So how to avoid it? Can I tell my manager, please don't talk to me? I have few things managed. No, that's not the way we do it. In fact, we have to help the manager understand how you are occupied each day. What are your routine? What are the things that you're focusing on so that these distractions will be eliminated? And fourth is, wastage in excess, the trivias, jokes and gossips, the entertainment, your reels, your escape activities. The famous escape activities is to go for a coffee break, and just be there and spend 30, 40 minutes just there. And busy work, just going up and down. Haven't we seen when we go to hospitals and other places or any places, people keep walking up and down, appearing busy, but anything happens, nothing happens. So this is wastage of time. So we have to make sure the learning is that we have to have our time mostly spent, almost 60 to 70% of our time spent in quadrant two, which is not urgent at the moment, but important. If quadrant two is not taken care, the quadrant one will take our maximum time, and that may not be high impact task at all. So you might feel that you're doing a good job. You're not doing anything. Another important, if you think, okay, this is not something that I can relate to, please go into the internet and check for a video which is called Is Your Jar Full? This is a beautiful, very, very interesting analogy to understand how you want to prioritize. See, the rocks, pebbles, and sand, right? Sand are something which is easy to fill, you can just fill it up. So all the filler activities like your meetings, unnecessary meetings, discussions and emails and texting and all that, these are certain activities that need to be controlled. And also some kind of entertainment and all that. These are filler activities. What we do is, because it's very interesting to us, we fill our life with all that, right? So we fill that up. What happens is you also have some important work to be done. Okay, this is so important because I need to do this for him or her or the organization. Otherwise, they will follow up with me. So these are important for them. So I use pebbles that also fixes up, and it comes to the brim with sand and pebbles. Now, there are important activities in life, which is your goal, your career, your family, your future, the aspirations. These are all big, big things. And when you think of doing it, you get a feeling my jar is already full. I don't have time. So instead, reverse it. Try to put the rocks first. Try to put the important things in your life first. It could be your studies, it could be your project plan, it could be your putting the team skills together, everything, the big ones, put it all together. It'll look like there's no space for other stuff. No, they can actually fit in if you shake the jar a little bit up, which means when you try to find squeeze in sometime, you can put the pebbles, which is important, right? And the sand or the filler things are something which is okay. If you do a little bit of shaking, you can put a little bit of those fun elements also, and it can go through the cracks and settle down. And the rocks are intact. So please go through this video, and it'll give a good insight into the art of prioritization. Is your jar full? Yes, but is it with rocks, or is it with pebbles, or is it with sand? And maybe you can also add some water also. So your the jar can be completely full. It's a very interesting analogy to understand the art of prioritization. And more important is also asking a very clarifying question for clear vision. Whenever you feel um, confused about what is it that I should be focusing on, right? You should ask this question. What is that one thing by doing which everything else will be easier? And everything else that you're doing can be given away because that is unnecessary, including people. You might be having tie up with a lot of people because you do not know how to do it, right? Just imagine if you know how to do it, the people and that process can be eliminated, right? If there are redundant things, if you think this will go away, it will save so much of time can be taken. So people, time, and material, right? All that can be trimmed if you know that thing. By doing that, everything else will become easier. You can ask that question for a clear vision. So people who struggle with prioritization are people who do not have a very good vision of what they want to achieve at work. That's when they get into accepting other people's work. For example, if you're going for a journey somewhere, a destination, and your train is at 6:55, right? If somebody comes in the way and says, I want to have a meeting with you, would you take up that request? You will not. You say, I have a train at 6:55. I just have 40 minutes and I have to be there. You would not prioritize then. Same way, we need to have a purpose. We need to have a clear vision of where we are going. Then we will be able to prioritize our work. Otherwise, prioritization just becomes a hyped word in management, right? Now, there are some techniques. Simple techniques. When look at this ABC, I think about the ABC juice for fitness, but somehow I don't know why I said that, but still, it's easy to remember the ABC method. So, A, of course, whatever is high priority, very important, major significance, important phone calls, you're launching a major campaign, advertising campaign, or something which is urgent, which is important, you have to take action. That becomes A. And the B may include, it could be a follow-up work, returning a call, writing an email, and things like that. Few things that can contribute to your long-term plan also. So whatever, whenever work comes to you, put that in the bucket. Should I put it in A? Should I put it in B? And C could be something, it could be a survey, even in organizations, the HR send a survey, right? Asking you to say, please give a feedback and all that. You immediately do it. I'm not talking about this feedback, but I'm talking about other things. It can wait to the end of the day, or, they would have given a time, you can complete it by that time. So it is a minor significance to your important goal, like 6:55 p.m. Your train, right? It's important. It's of a lower priority. You have to go there and finally do this, right? So if it's less important, put it into the C bucket. So ABC technique. Okay, so another one. So if you think, okay, this is very simple, I don't want to use this technique for prioritization, I want something big. Yes, you have Moscow. Easy to remember, isn't it? Moscow. Moscow. Um, in any work you just check, is it a must have feature for me? Should I have it? Must have, right? Requirement necessary for completion of a project. Yeah, this is must have. Then look at should have, requirements that are important but not essential. This is when we are talking about huge projects, right? So it's overwhelming, you don't know which one to prioritize. So follow Moscow. I need to have, this must have, these are the must have for me for my project. These are important, but they're not essential. Should have, it can wait. And there are few things that are could have, this will have small impact. It's nice to have. Haven't you seen in some project meetings, people talk about the end result, how it should look like, and frills and fancies. It's okay. You don't have to focus there. So it's nice to have, could have. And requirements that are not at all important, it can be left out. It just won't have. We will not talk about, it's just that in project management, we talk about in scope, out of scope, right? But to make us, take decision for small, small tasks in our life, this is what will help Moscow. So Kanban is a Japanese industrial regulation technique that helps in the workflow. So it has got a process of visualizing the work itself. No, so that's a factory setup that is usually this Kanban is usually used for prioritization. So usually it involves visualizing the workflow and seeing if there is too much of work in a particular area, and making sure the process is flowing smoothly, and also telling who is doing the work very well, where is it lacking, and giving feedback and evolving out of it. So this is a complete board where you visualize the work and different stages of a project. Stating that whether the work is progressing, how the work is progressing, where it is starting from, and where it is finishing. So in a project, there are five, for example, if there are five different work that is involved, for each there will be a start to finish. So we will actually know where this work is progressing. Then we will also set the limit as to in which of the processes the workload is more, so that we can take care of it initially. And we can actually add tasks to the board. We can actually move from one column to another. Like we can also set up like to do. There are a few things in progress. Then there are things that are done, right? And then we make the feedback very, the status very explicit, saying that this is something that we have to do, this is something which is in progress, and this is something which is already done. So this is very explicit and it is very visual. What happens is people can give you feedback. Based on the feedback, improvements and done, and there is a proper evolution of the entire process. So this is a Kanban method. And finally, there is a method called Pomodoro technique. It's Italian name of tomato is Pomodoro. So if you take a big task, what you do is you kind of chunk it into 25 minutes. Every 25 minutes, four times, you create a 5 minutes break, right? And once you reach the fourth part of the 25th minute, 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25, and when you are in the fourth quarter, what you do is you take a bigger break of 15 to 30 minutes. So this will help you, do a better job of your work. So this is one technique that you can try in terms of prioritization and being more productive. Finally, you have some strategies and productivity tools also available. You can block certain time for a particular activity and do only that work. Never do multitasking because it doesn't work at all. And it's always good to learn how to say no, even it means that it is coming from a higher official. We could say no in the right way, and also do batch similar tasks together. Don't do haphazard way. Whatever, if you are actually writing emails, complete all the work of emails. If you're setting up some meeting task, complete all the work related to meeting. So when you batch similar tasks, you can actually save a lot of time and you can prioritize better. There are so many task management apps like Trello, Asana, Todoist, Jira, and there are a lot of calendar app which all of us are familiar, which is Google, Apple, MS Outlook, etc. And there is note-taking app also, because if you are losing time on taking notes, Evernote or OneNote or Simple Note can help. So these are certain strategies and productivity tools that you could do. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.